Three, two, one. Hey everyone, this is Connor Van Sice from the Cloud Saga Cinema Podcast, and I am joined today by
Ryan Dangler.
And Colin Bauer.
So we're gonna try something very different today, because right before the recording of this podcast, which is actually happening on a Friday instead of a Tuesday, sadly, Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman died at the age of 43 due to colon cancer. So instead of the news today, we were just gonna talk about that and kind of a remembrance and it's shocking. I mean, the man had colon cancer for 4 years.
Yeah.
Stage 4. And I mean, he's been known to do 42 for Jackie Robinson, of course, Black Panther, multiple times portrayal of that character.
Get On Up, where he played
Get On
James
Up,
Brown.
yep.
21 Bridges.
I mean, the man was destined to have a great career.
Yeah.
For sure.
He was a brilliant actor. He was an inspiration to a minority that is having extreme troubles right now. He gave little Black children everywhere someone to look up to and be like, hey, you know what? I can be a superhero too, because look at that guy. He looks just like me. And, life is precious. Life is a very precious thing, and it can end just like that. And
it's just insane that it was so out of nowhere. He kept it so
he kept
well.
it to himself, and I respect it. I respect it.
Just to kind of keep him, just keep all that attention off of him because of that. But I respect him for it 100%. So I think that takes a lot to do, especially with how long he had it. Like you said, his career was just starting to take off. His
career was just starting.
Yeah,
The Five Bloods, which was his last one, his last movie
with Spike Lee, is insane. That was his last film with such a huge director. I'm at a loss.
That was my instant reaction when I first saw it.
There's 2 words. On to forever.
And that's the thing he's gonna leave behind.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't want this entire podcast to be so negative and sad, but it's it's incredible to me that I don't want to get philosophical here or anything, but it's like, think of the work the man could have done.
Exactly.
Think of the work that he had done up until this point. Think of the work that he should be able to do, but he can't now. And his children, his family, the cast and crew of every movie he's been involved in, how they were able to see him smile and be involved with him and just be around him at any given moment, how he's just taken away from them, and it's
just like that.
And I don't know about you guys, but I was introduced to Chadwick in 42.
So I was as well.
That was the first one I saw him. Little did I know that he was gonna go on to play Black Panther.
Yeah.
And he was great in that. And I remember reading that, Jackie Robinson, I think he was still alive around that time, if I'm not mistaken. And he fully was behind the casting of it.
Yeah.
It's funny. I was watching 42 all those years ago, and I was like, this man is going to have a great career ahead of him. And he goes on to portray great characters, and just gone. Just bad.
And I don't want to talk about what Marvel's going to do. I don't want to talk about that.
No,
because that is not
that's not the focus of this.
the
That's
focus
for
of this.
That's for another episode. We can cover that another time.
Yeah, that's that. It's a loss on all fronts, and that's all I'll say in that regards to this.
He was a great actor.
For sure.
I mean, from looking at his IMDb page right now,
I don't think he ever really had a bad performance. Don't think he ever
42
really did.
Draft Day, Get On Up, Captain America: Civil War, Marshall, 21 Bridges to Five Bloods, all the Avengers movies, and he has
countless wonderful performances. But at least we have those to look back and remember him for as well. This man was a terrific actor.
Oh, and he's got
one of the greatest filmographies to remember.
Yeah. Chadwick's got one more film left.
On his IMDb page, it has a few that he was in development.
Like this one.
Marvel just posted about it, by the way.
Oh.
They said, "Our hearts are broken and our thoughts are with Chadwick Boseman's family. Your legacy will live on forever. Rest in peace."
His next film that's coming out that is in post-production now, so he already finished his filming, is called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and it's based off a novel of the same name, or no, not a novel, a play, and in that one he'll be starring alongside Viola Davis in that one. It's a Netflix film.
Immediately on my watch list.
Day one.
There's not much else to say. I mean,
no, I think
Hollywood lost a very important, a very influential, a very talented, a very amazing. I'm sure he was an even great person. They lost someone very special, and
someone who's very much irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And I think the man was one of many people that are quietly hurt on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Whether they're dealing with mental health issues or a form of disease and they just don't want to say it, or, they're just not in the right mindset and they don't want to share that with the world. And I think he is one of the many people that's a part of it. And, I respect it to the fullest, because that's a hard thing to want to be like, oh, well, hey, guess what? You know what? I have cancer. And that puts unwanted attention that he already has because of his fandom. And, you look at someone like Robin Williams, same kind of thing, one of the funniest people, one of the happiest people that you could think of. And it's the same kind of thing. And
turns out not so much.
I'm at a complete loss for words. I think it's going to be a very long few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
To say the least, and to somehow sit down and make sense of all this is going to be nearly impossible because of how much of an impact he truly had on not just my childhood and my upcoming in film, but everyone else's. I mean, he slowly built this long-lasting impact that can only be looked back on now.
Yeah.
This will be a legacy that, you know, our kids as kids and their kids as kids continue to look back on
Be
because
like,
of just
oh, hey,
how
Dad, who's
impactful his
that
career
guy?
was.
Well, that guy gave hope to a lot of minorities and a lot of people all across the world.
He really
It's-
gave a whole new meaning to the word superhero, in my opinion.
Truly did.
They truly did. And I think that's all he wanted to do was just still some sort of new kind of
Send a message and give hope to, because I'm sure he had people to look up to all his life, and you know what? Now he's someone that people can look up to. So
yeah, for sure.
rest in peace, Chadwick. Somehow we gotta make it through this podcast tonight.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll
after
do
that,
Well, hey, you know what? Why don't we all crack a cold one for Chadwick tonight?
I got my peace tea. Rest in peace.
There you go.
got a life water.
We got water, but cheers to Chadwick. Rest in peace, Wakanda forever.
All right. So again, this episode's gonna be completely different because of everything. So instead of talking about a movie today, we're gonna talk about a lot of movies.
A lot of it.
Like a lot.
Like
We're
mini
gonna be doing
reviews.
something very, very different. We're gonna be doing a bracket, specifically an A24 bracket. So those who do not know, those who have been living under a rock, A24 is a production company. There
you go.
I should have.
They make some pretty damn good movies.
Some damn good merch too.
That's true, but it's very expensive.
It is
Highly recommend getting some merch from A24 shop if you can.
Yeah.
But the way this is gonna go, I have a bracket that was randomly generated, and we're just gonna go through it, and we're gonna pick Cloud Saga's pick for the best A24 film.
Okay.
So the first matchup. Oh well, I should go out and say that this is just like the matchups are randomly generated. Like I've seen people do it like by date, release date, and stuff like that. But no, this is like random. So
and this one doesn't include every A24 film.
It is 32.
We would be here for.
We would be here for a very long time. So
Can we see what movies we're gonna be going against?
I will put them. So I'm gonna put them in the video.
Okay.
But I'll read them out. So our first matchup is Paul Schrader's First Reform versus Claire Denis' High Life. So Brian, I know you saw First Reformed. Colin, have you seen either of these movies?
I saw First Reformed quite some time ago.
Yep. So I've seen both.
So don't remember a whole lot, but
for me, High Life is very odd. Like take on a sci-fi type movie. Like Robert Pattinson's in it, actually.
Yeah.
He's really good in it, and he has again a great career ahead of him. He's finally turning that ship around with Batman and everything coming up.
Yeah.
But for me, my pick will be First Reformed, simply because of Ethan Hawke's performance. I think that
That did strike a
performance
chord with
is
me too, as well.
criminally underrated, and the fact that didn't even get a nomination is quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
For me, that's my reasoning behind the pick. All things aside, it's just the performance for me.
Yeah.
One of my favorites of 2018.
For sure.
Was it 2018? 2017? Around
20, I think it was 18.
there? All right.
It was 18.
I have to go First Reformed by default because I haven't seen a High Life. But I also enjoyed First Reformed. So it's not like I watched it and I didn't like it, but I have to pick it. No, I enjoyed it. I thought his performance was great in it. The film overall, it's different. It's a different film.
It's very different.
It's not at all what I thought it was gonna be. I was going in expecting I expected horror for some reason. It gave me everything, the promotional stuff to the synopsis gave me a horror vibe. And I was watching it, I'm like, no, this is just it's a weird. It's a drama.
Very soothing, almost drama, but it has such deeper meanings.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's very beautifully shot too, I will say.
I like the ratio that they use.
The ratio works.
It works
very well in this.
That's also another thing I didn't expect or going into it, and that's something I also really enjoyed because if you use it right, it makes the movie a lot better. And I don't know, I thought it worked. It also has one of the weirdest endings.
The ending is very open-ended.
I really don't have words for it. I thought it was gonna go one way.
It goes completely off the rails.
I thought it was gonna go one way, and then it goes another way, and then it finishes another way, and it's a wacky film. It's
very wacky.
It's something I definitely have to rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch.
Oh, definitely.
It at some point.
On repeat viewings, I like it a lot more.
Okay.
And I was able to rewatch it, thankfully.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, it's so good. It's too good. It's honestly so good. Colin, since you've only seen First Reformed.
Yeah, I gotta go First Reformed.
Right.
A little bit biased there, but like you mentioned, I do enjoy Ethan Hawke's performance. Really criminally underrated. Should have got a nomination.
He could easily fit it in there.
Yeah, I thought he was nominated too, for some reason.
He was 6th or 7th the entire year. It's ridiculous that he didn't get it.
Should have got nominated.
Stupid.
Yeah,
should have gotten nominated.
We're talking about the Academy here, so.
Yeah, it's true. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't remember a whole lot, which is my bad, unfortunately. But I do remember actually enjoying the ending when I first saw it. It didn't necessarily catch me off guard, but it also wasn't what I expected. So take that.
It's one that really snuck under the radar for a lot of people. So.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so First Reformed is the first movie to move on.
With a clean sweep.
The next round is a pretty good one. Waves, directed by Trey Edward Schultz, and Green Room, who I'm not even sure who directed that. But
sorry, I almost fell out of my chair.
I was wondering, you did this little jump thing.
What the hell?
One of the
Waves came out last year, and
Green Room I think was 2015 too.
It took me a very long time to watch Waves because it took, I don't know why, but all the A24's distribution thing is really strange and how long they take to distribute everything, whether that's in theaters or DVD, but that's besides the point. Waves is a coming of age, like drama about just like it's the most brutal coming of age film I think I've seen in a very long time because Calvin Harrison Jr., who's the lead for the first half, gives an incredible performance. Last year, he gave really two great performances in Loose and this, and I think he should have been nominated or gotten some love somewhere for it. Green Room is heavy metal as a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's pretty much that's how you can describe Green Room.
That is a great description.
It's I mean, it's about heavy metal, but
yeah. Listen, when I was trying to review it for one of the newspapers I worked at, I was trying to think of a way to describe it simply, and that is the description I should have used.
It's like
I'll let you use it next time.
It's like if someone just made a screenplay while blasting screamo the whole time. Essentially.
For me, though, as much as I like Green Room, it's very forgettable.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but that's why I'm going to go with Waves on this because Waves I think about time to time, and it's one that I want to revisit, and I should have rewatched it for this, but performances are great, and there's a lot of standouts and breakthrough performances. Sterling K. Brown, who's been he's kind of been on TV more than movies, and last year he had like so many movies. I think he was in the Rhythm Section, which I think came out this year.
Yeah.
There's a few other things last year. I think
Rhythm Section was like January this year.
Yeah. It kind of got dumped there.
Yeah.
But for me, it's Waves, easily, hands down. Because I couldn't tell you what happened in Green Room because I forget about it. Like, it's fun, and it's I can only compare it to like Good Time or Uncut Gems because it made me feel really anxious.
Yeah.
See, Green Room is it's a great horror movie, but you forget about it. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's like it scares you, and then you're like, okay, cool, I was entertained, I'm out. So
I agree. I agree. For me, but Waves for me easily.
Okay. I have to go Green Room by default
because you've
I didn't see Waves. I didn't see Waves. But again, I enjoyed Green Room. I also forgot about it. Last time I watched it was in May.
That's fairly recent too.
Dude, that's a couple months ago.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
Fun. It is a fun movie.
It's a movie where I think it would be better if you watch with friends.
Brian,
Yeah.
I was legit just about to say that exact thing. That's a movie you throw on when you have like 10, 20 people over and everyone's like, well, we're not going to focus on it, but if action happens, then okay.
We'll watch it, yeah.
Exactly. One of those.
But
like a nice replacement for a slasher.
Yeah. So,
and,
I mean, we can give it to Green Room because, I mean, clearly we have a lot more positive things to say about it than we thought. So
yeah.
We can give it to Green Room.
So real quick here, I enjoy Waves, but I'm also a sucker for a good horror movie, and Green Room
totally understandable.
Makes it for me. If we were comparing, like, let's say for example we're comparing Lighthouse and Green Room, I might go Lighthouse. So
I can't. Lighthouse is coming back. Lighthouse, that should be an easy discussion right there.
Yeah. So anyways, when we get to Lighthouse, I'll talk more about Lighthouse.
All right. So Green
Room. I did rewatch.
Moving on. The next matchup is The Last Black Man in San Francisco, directed by Joe Talbot, I think.
Yeah.
Who made a directorial debut with this one, and it's going against Locke.
All right.
Tom Hardy.
Okay.
For me, I don't even explain this. It is easily Last Black Man in San Francisco because that was the most beautiful film I saw last year. Immaculately shot, great cinematography. How it got no nominations or no love anywhere is shocking.
Even at like an indie, like
It got
something or
nothing.
rather.
It barely got
Nothing.
anything. Stupid.
Nothing.
It's dumb.
Like I don't understand. How did that
No,
just
but,
slip under the radar?
Jimmy Fails, who's in it, does a great job. And what's the other kid's name?
Oh man, you hadn't just asked me to be able to give you a name.
He's in everything now. He's in
Yeah.
Lovecraft Country.
Oh,
It's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
I know who it is. Hold on.
I want to look it up now.
I know who it is.
It
Wasn't he in Defy Bloods as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
Who should?
Yes.
I cannot praise his performance enough. He should have gotten a nomination. I don't care what anyone says. He should have gotten a nomination easily. One of my favorite films last year, and I've said this multiple times, probably on this, podcast before. Anything in my top 15 can be interchangeable in any spot from last year. So this could have been easily my favorite film last year, but.
You guys remember his performance in White Boy Rick?
Yeah, I remember reading that.
I forgot he was in that.
He was in the poster or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
Yeah. I was like, that's the dude from White Boy Rick. I'm like, all right, cool.
But for me, I know, well, Brian, you disagree with me here. I could not make it through Locke. I made
It's
it
a struggle.
30, 40 minutes in, and I just had no interest. I love Tom Hardy, and maybe 50% of the things he's in, I just couldn't get into it. Honestly.
It's
unfair because I really didn't finish it, but I couldn't get into it.
Shame.
It didn't do it for me.
Well, guess what, guys?
He has to vote for Locke. Brian has to vote for Locke.
Surprise! My vote's in for Locke because I haven't seen Last Black Man in San Francisco.
So you're locking that one in, Brian?
I'm locking it
in. Brian's Lock of the Week.
So I remember when I watched Locke. It was on Netflix. I heard some stuff about it. I heard it was just an hour and a half, not even, of Tom Hardy in a car for the whole runtime. And his life spirals out of control. I'm like, that sounds cool. So I watched it. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be, but I don't think that's
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's
fine. It's like it's a cool
just the man
idea.
who watched 40 minutes of it.
It's a cool idea. It's like something you would think of doing with like
your friends.
Friends, super low budget. And
which it is. I think
it is super low
under
budget.
$1 million or something like that. It's
around there. It had to have been. So it's a cool idea, and I mean, with what they had, I think it's probably one of the best ways they could have gone about it. Like, I don't think it's a bad film, but it is the slowest hour 20-something you'll ever watch.
100%. That's the biggest issue for me. It was slow. Nothing happened.
I will say that it is a slow burn, but I will say that the ending is kind of worth it because it's not a good ending. I'll say that.
I couldn't tell you what the ending was.
Well, Brian, it's a good ending for the movie, but it's not a great ending.
Well, no, I don't mean that. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Colin, you have? Here's my. I don't say it's not a good ending because it's not a good ending in terms of like film. I mean, like, it's not a good ending for his character.
Okay.
It's like if it was a good ending, that's in terms of like everything went his way by the end and it was a happy ending. It was not a happy ending.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, the complete opposite. So, and I think that's the way I kind of wanted the film to end. Because I feel like if it ended with a happy ending, everything that you would have watched wouldn't have mattered.
Right. It is a bit predictable.
It is a little bit predictable, but I think it wouldn't have worked if they didn't make it, like, if they didn't go the route that they did with the ending. So I enjoyed Tom Hardy's performance. I thought he did as best as he could. There were some times I couldn't understand what he was saying because he had such a heavy English accent in it.
Tom Hardy is probably the weirdest good actor out there.
I would agree.
Because he tries way too hard sometimes. He tries.
He gets very invested.
Capone? Capone?
Oh, straight up Venom. There's some lines I have no idea what he's saying.
That man,
like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what American accent that is, but it's not good.
All of a sudden, Tom Hardy will just do anything.
Yeah.
He will. He absolutely will. I have not seen Last Black Man in San Francisco, so I can't say if I like it or not. Thus, my vote has to.
I know what Colin's vote is.
Lock.
Because me and Colin, it better be the vote that I think it is. Because me and Colin saw this together.
We did. We saw Last Black Man in San Francisco together. You know, I actually very much enjoyed the chemistry that Jimmy Fails and Jonathan Majors had in that movie. Wonderfully well cast. Again, to go with Connor, beautifully well shot. I think Joe Talbot did a great job directing. I think that
Joe Talbot is one to watch out for.
Yeah,
really, like full seriousness. That kid has some insane eyes for film. So
major label, music on my mind. Major studio should try and get him for some
I think
relatively modest
give him
budget.
Give him one more feature.
Yeah,
he'll come a knocking.
Probably. Sure. On the flip side for Locke, you know, it's a very simple premise kind of movie. I think there's some good direction in that too, for what it's worth. You know, as you both mentioned, it is a very slow burn, very, very slow. But I mean, I think that also keeps your suspense up, and you know, you're still engaged with the movie. At the end of the day, though, my favorite out of the two of these, Last Black Man in San Francisco.
All right.
How'd it do, Connor?
Here. Last Black Man in San Francisco. That's what we like to see right there. All right. So that is moving on. The next matchup is
Sorry, Brian.
Spicy one. Greta Gerwig's directorial debut, Lady Bird versus Ex Machina.
This is a spicy one. Really,
this is a spicy one because Lady Bird is somehow this beloved masterpiece by everyone. I think it's pretty good. I mean, the first time I watched it, I loved it. But this movie has 99% of Rotten Tomatoes or something like that.
That I don't understand. I'm gonna be flat out with
I mean, Rotten Tomatoes it works differently than I think people think it does, but
the tomato meter is a percentage of positive to negative rating.
Yeah. So that means 99% of the reviewers
are positive. Yeah.
For me, Lady Bird is I want to say memorable, but also forgettable because I feel like people talk about it, but then people don't talk about it. But then, Greta got snubbed again. So Lady Bird, I feel like whatever Greta does, Lady Bird is brought up. But then as soon as Greta is out of the picture,
no one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah.
For me, that's the way I see it. Ex Machina is this perfect rock.
Okay, I didn't know where that was going.
Smooth rock. It's perfect. Nothing's wrong with it. You can't break it. You can't get into it and find something wrong with it because it's smooth and it's perfect.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's my description of Ex Machina.
I would agree.
I think Donald Gleason's performance is great. And I think Alicia Vikander is great. And I think the movie's great.
And Oscar Isaac.
Oh, and Oscar. Great. Oh, Oscar Isaac. If Robert Downey Jr. was not picked as
for Iron Man,
Oscar Isaac, after watching this movie, give it to him. Just give it to him.
Give it to him.
Yep. My vote's Ex Machina. As much as I like Lady Bird, Ex Machina all the way.
So this is the first film in the tournament where I've seen both of them.
Oh.
Literally, I watched them days apart this past week. I watched Lady Bird on Saturday, and then I watched Ex Machina like 2 or 3 days ago. I think they're both great. I mean, well, great to stretch with Lady Bird. I think Lady Bird's good. Like
There's something definitely missing from it.
I didn't not enjoy it. I think going into it, knowing that it had a 99% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and that it was nominated for Best Picture, I thought it was overhyped.
I totally forgot that it was nominated for Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that.
I think Saoirse was also nominated for Best Actress.
She was, which I think is deserved.
Yeah, that one's like
she's
that
a really
deserved.
good.
She was good. I think that was probably her. I don't know if that was her best performance.
Third or fourth nomination, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's her third.
Yeah. Well, Lady Bird's good. I don't know if I'll ever revisit it. Maybe like
Timmy.
Also, Lady Bird was, before I go on to Ex Machina, Lady Bird was the fourth film this year that I gotta look at the actor's name, because there's this one actor that...
Oh, Lucas Hedges.
That's it.
He is the A24 darling. He's in every A24 movie out there.
So I've unintentionally seen 4 Lucas Hedges films this year.
Yep.
I just go into it and I'm like, I don't know he's going to be in it. And then I see him in the first one. I think the first one I saw him in was...
Mid-90s?
No, 3 Billboards.
3 Billboards.
3 Billboards. I watched that earlier this year. Loved it. I absolutely love that. It's not an A24 film, sadly, so we can't include it here. But I absolutely love that film, and he was great in it. And then the next one up was... it wasn't mid-90s. What was it? Let's say mid-90s was there too. He was in mid-90s. Lady Bird. No, it wasn't Florida Project. No, it wasn't Florida Project. It wasn't Florida Project.
Brian, you just had an epiphany, but then had a senior moment at the same time.
I'm like, yeah, I can't remember what else he was in. I'm at a loss. I saw him in 4 films this year, but I don't remember what the other one was.
Brian can't remember what other films he saw him in, but let's everyone know that Brian saw Lucas Hedges in 4 films this year. Not 3, 4. 4. We don't know what that 4th one is, but it's gonna be there.
I'll look at.
It's gonna bug him now.
I gotta look at his filmography real quick.
But
yeah, I thought he was good in Lady Bird. And overall, Lady Bird I thought was good.
So I'm guessing your vote's for Ex Machina.
I gotta talk about Ex Machina first. Ex Machina is, like you said, is perfect. There's nothing I would change.
I think it's honestly up there with one of my favorites from A24.
Oh, easily. I think it's definitely in my top 10. It's another film where it's not like what I expected, and
it's very subtle. Like not much happens until the end.
Yeah. Also, I have never seen A24 partner with such a huge studio like Universal.
Yeah.
I did not.
I think it's mainly because of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I 100% did not expect to see the Universal logo pop up after A24. I'm like, that's like, I don't even know.
That'd be like us partnering with like Disney.
That's like Brian watching 3 Lucas Hedges movies instead of 4.
Instead of 4, yeah.
Roast.
Ex Machina is like perfection, and it's like everyone's great in it. I'm
gonna stop Brian Brian, are you having a stroke right now?
I'm tired. I worked a 10 to 6 today.
Ooh.
I'm not all here. I can't remember this 4th film that Lucas Hedges was in. Manchester by the Sea, that's it.
All right.
It was Manchester, and I think that was the first film I saw him in, and then I saw him in 3 Billboards. Jesus Christ. That was the 4th one. That was the 4th one.
So Brian, I've had it pulled up on my screen. I was just waiting for you to say it, and if you didn't say it at the end of the podcast, I was just gonna come out with it.
I don't know why I was.
Brian, is your vote for Ex Machina?
My vote is for Ex Machina. I loved it. The ending was insane. It makes you think. Lucas Hedges. He wasn't even in Ex Machina.
Colin, buddy, What's your pick? What do you think?
Ex Machina all the way. I don't
All
remember
right.
a
Well,
single
you know
thing
what,
from Lady
everyone.
Bird.
Ex
I've seen it like
Machina
4 times.
won.
I don't remember a single thing.
All right. So Ex
And I
Machina's
just I
moving on.
watched it actually like 4 or 5 days ago, and I don't remember a single thing.
All right.
Shout out
Ex
to Lucas
Machina wins.
Hedges.
All right. Let's
Sweet.
just move on here. Moonlight versus Eighth Grade.
It's another good
Bo Burnham's
matchup.
directorial debut versus Barry Jenkins' masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough one.
Moonlight for me,
It
honestly.
is kind of a tough one.
I like both movies. I like the stories they tell. I love Marshala Ali's performance, and forgive me, I always forget the girl's name in 8th grade. Always escapes me.
I forgot it too.
But
I'm not too
you
sure.
know, if someone wants to look up her name, if not, that's fine. But her performance, I think, is absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
On that movie.
It's very realistic.
Yeah, I think they're very well composed films together as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great direction.
I was gonna say they're both very well directed films.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though.
Elsie Fisher.
Thank you, Elsie Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, the one I keep going back to, and I can't figure out why, is actually 8th grade. Because I think it's probably because there's a lot to relate there to it, especially with us growing up in the digital age. But I think if you strip that away, it really gets down to the human experience. Growing up, going through adolescence, and kind of figuring out like who we are and how that kind of keeps moving us forward a little bit. So for me, I think 8th grade has a more human connection to it. So my pick is 8th grade, but Moonlight is right there too. But I'm going 8th grade.
All right. So I thoroughly enjoyed both these movies. I think they're both, like you said, they're both very well directed. There's nothing I would change about really either movie. I don't think.
I agree.
I think the way they approached both of these stories was perfection in their own way.
I honestly think both are some of the most naturally natural feeling A24 films.
Yeah.
I think both of them are like watching real life play out. And I feel like
they're both like top 5 when it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
I even had Booksmart to that list too.
True. Mm-hmm. For me, Moonlight, the reason why I'm voting for it is how groundbreaking it is for the LGBTQ plus community, because that changed everything. Especially seeing as it won Best Picture, or did it, or
didn't it?
The world will never know. Thing. But regardless, Mahershala Ali's great. Trevante Rhodes, amazing. For me, it's 8th grade. Or not 8th grade. Not 8th grade. Moonlight.
It's another 2017 or 2018 Oscars. You say all these great things about one film and you just give it to the other.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
So Brian, you have the call.
I do have the call. So like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed both these movies. I would go back to either of these ones, honestly, in a heartbeat. But I think in terms of how much...
Who are you going to back for the long run, though?
That's what I'm thinking. The one that impacted me the most, I think, after watching, I think, was Moonlight. And I think that's the one I'm going to go with. And you can't say this about many movies, but there were 3 performances as the same character, and they were all phenomenal.
Exactly.
They were all great, and they all had their own place in the film. And each person did amazing. All the child actors, honestly, in both of them were great.
Barry Jenkins is such a great director.
But I am going to give it to Moonlight.
Gotcha.
Cool. All right,
and again, not to say I don't like Moonlight. I love Moonlight, but I got more out of 8th grade.
Gotcha.
I think personally.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a great film.
Yeah.
All right, so Moonlight, moving on.
I just don't want Connor to roast me later for that,
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. So yeah, Moonlight. Moving on. Our next matchup is Swiss Army Man versus Free Fire. For me, this is, I don't have much to say about either one. I think Free Fire has an all-star cast, and it's a fun, I think, 90 minutes. It's basically, I would consider it like Lock, where it just happens in one spot.
Mhm.
They're just shooting, Free Fire, man.
Yeah.
Firing guns.
All right.
But
There you
no,
go.
for me, Swiss Army Man. I mean, Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe can pull a performance out of his ass if he wants to.
Mhm.
So for me, it's easy, Swiss Army Man.
I mean, have you seen his performance in Horns? Kind of easy.
Mhm.
That's true.
This is an interesting one for me because I
Yeah.
haven't seen either of these films. So I was thinking about this before going in. How am I going to decide on a category or a spot in the bracket where I haven't seen either film? And I think it's the one. I think what I'm going to go with is how much I want to watch one film over the other. That's how I'm
fair.
going to do it. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to go like based on anyone's bias or anything. It's just going to be which one I want to watch more. The one I want to watch more is honestly Swiss Army Man, in my opinion. Now that I've seen more Paul Dano and now he's going to be the Riddler, and in my opinion, he's going to be one of the best goddamn DC villains ever. I think he has potential to be fucking phenomenal. And after watching The Prisoners, which is
Paul Dano is a force to be reckoned with.
he's insane, and he's a hell of a director too.
Yeah, Wildlife.
I think he's kind of like,
He's the next big thing.
He's gonna be the next big thing. He's kind of like, almost like a Donald Glover, where like he can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like obviously,
I can see him. I mean, he was in There Will Be Blood, and I may be overstepping here, but I mean, seeing as he hasn't gotten a lot of love from anything, I mean, he's gotten a few nominations here and there. I can see him reaching the heights of Daniel Day-Lewis.
He could. He easily could.
I'm
the talent is
gonna
there.
say it.
That's not a hot take. I'd agree with you completely there.
He has that ability.
He's
If he
very
keeps on
talented.
doing what he's doing, he can easily do that for sure.
And Daniel Radcliffe is Daniel Radcliffe. Like he's kind of like a Robert Pattinson. Where like, I mean, like obviously.
He's been able to turn his career around since
he's
a children's book related movie.
Yeah, he's proven that like he can play other stuff other than
Harry Potter.
Wizard. Than Harry Potter. So, he's kind of like turning his career around a bit. I mean, obviously he did amazing in the Harry Potter movies, so I'm not saying he did bad, but he's proving that he can do more than that.
He's stepping out of that shell.
Yeah. And the only thing I literally found out Free Fire was an A24 film because of this bracket. I knew Swiss Army Man was an A24
I think,
film.
Brian, I think you'd like Free Fire.
I think I would too. I remember when it came out. I remember seeing like very, very light marketing for it. I remember seeing like a trailer or two on TV for it, and that was it. I think that was because of the cast. It has a pretty big cast, if I remember correctly. Like Brie Larson's in it.
Armie Hammer, Brie Larson, Chartel Copley.
Was there another big studio that partnered with them?
I think potentially.
It probably was. Maybe it was like Fox or something. But I think the one I want to watch more over the other more is Swiss Army Man, because it's Paul Dano and Dan Radcliffe, and it just looks so odd.
So, yeah.
Are you gonna say Free Fire?
No. I'm gonna say one good thing about Free Fire. It's probably the only performance of Brie Larson's that I like.
I will agree.
out.
That room, and believe it or not, she's in Community for a few episodes.
Yeah, she is.
And she's probably the most likable character in the last few seasons. So
yeah, I might agree with you there, Connor. That's a hot take. But yeah, Swiss Army Man. Let's be real. Let's be real.
All right.
Yeah, that is the way to go. That is the movie that's one of those movies that I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
It's so
crazy
It's
is
one I gotta revisit.
what's crazy is that I remember hearing news that people, like, when that film was first being shown, people were walking out of it.
Well, yeah, I
Oh yeah.
mean, the film starts out with Daniel Radcliffe farting across an ocean, so.
I mean, let's be real here. I went with two good buddies of mine, and they both walked out at the start of that movie.
I'm not
They're like, "Fuck."
surprised.
Really?
I'm
They're
not
like, "F
surprised.
this," and they were gone. I'm like, "Well, all right."
Damn.
All right. So, Swiss Army Man, moving on. Our next matchup is a pretty spicy one once again. Two favorites of mine, and I know two favorites of both of yours. Mid-90s, directed by Jonah Hill and Sean Baker's The Florida Project. So, as you can tell, I like mid-90s. I have the
Yeah.
poster. I had a small obsession with the movie after watching it
Yeah.
in theaters, but I got to go with The Florida Project. As much as I want to back Jonah and how great that movie is, The Florida Project might be one of my favorite films ever made. I don't stop thinking about it. I love it to death. Brooklyn Prince is great. William Dafoe is great. Everyone in the movie is great. It's beautiful looking. The writing is immaculate. Sean Baker somehow is able to craft this heartwarming, amazing story out of really nothing and makes it fly by. The film flies by for me. So easily Florida Project for me, unfortunately. Hate to see mid-90s go, but
This is the one matchup I think, or this was the matchup in the first round I was looking forward to the most. I love both these films, and this was a part of a triple feature I did not too long ago. It was mid-90s was the second one, and Florida Project was the third one. And I think we mentioned this before with in terms of realism and A24. These are two of the most realistic A24 films
definitely.
ever made. I
Very
love both of them.
authentic to the way that they tell their stories.
Exactly.
Sure.
I am going to give it to Florida Project for this one. I think Florida Project was flawless.
100% agreed.
I'll say it right
Masterpiece.
here. There's I mentioned it on a previous episode, I think like 2 episodes ago, that that just like it has one of the best. I think probably you could argue and say it has the best ensemble of children actors ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single one of them that were bad. They all sold it like they've been acting for years, and they were all like under 10 years old, and a lot is it just seems like a documentary. It's like a documentary of how realistic it is, and I'm also very happy that Willem Dafoe was nominated after seeing. Like at first, when I heard he was nominated, I was like, okay, he just seems like a guy. But after seeing this, I'm like, well, he's pretty damn good at being a normal
he's pretty damn good in it. He's pretty
damn good. So I would like to see him more as just a normal guy, but he was phenomenal in it. Everyone's phenomenal in it. I think this film definitely thrives on having just that one big name in it too. Because I think if you threw a bunch of big names in this film, it probably wouldn't have been the same.
It wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have been this. Yeah, it wouldn't.
If you threw someone like Jacob Tremblay in there, it wouldn't have worked.
Nah, or like Timothy Chalamet or something. Yeah. Like, I mean, nothing against them; they're both phenomenal actors. Yeah. But like, if you throw more than one big name in there, it's not going to work.
And William Dafoe isn't even in that very much.
No, he's not in that much.
He definitely is a supporting role for it.
Yeah, and when he does show up, he fits into it. Yeah. So, I'm going to give it to Florida Project. I didn't really talk about mid-90s that much. I'll talk about it for a quick second.
Let Colin do it, because I know Colin's going to vote for it. I can already see it in his eyes that Colin's going to vote for mid-90s.
All right.
I have no doubt that it's going to be mid-90s.
Connor, you know me so well. Yeah, it's mid-90s. I'm going to agree with everything you said about the Florida Project, hands down. For me, why I choose mid-90s is it feels like I'm watching something straight out of the 90s. It's got that aesthetic. It's got that appeal. It puts me right in the time period it should be set in. And I just feel it's a very, again, like a human nature. So it's a very much a coming of age tale. I relate so much to Sonny and how he feels, like that. So, um, you know, Jonah Hill directing work. I mean, for not bad for his debut. Could use a little
He
bit more work
definitely
on
has a
the
lot
next
of
effort.
potential.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect start, but it's
Yeah,
Definitely not a bad starter.
no.
No, not at all.
I can definitely see it kickstarting some careers. I'm hoping I see Ryder McLaughlin in a lot more.
for
I
sure.
see Nikhil Smith in so much more. Give him any role. Sonny
for sure.
Soljic, great. I mean, Lucas Hedges we already talked about, but
Yeah, Lucas
it's gonna
Hedges.
really kickstart a lot of careers. So.
But yeah, I mean, do I enjoy the Florida Project? Of course I do. I mean, I think it's a very solid movie. As I don't know if you said it in the podcast, but I know you've said it before. It's a damn near perfect movie, if it isn't already. But yeah, The Rock.
It's The Rock again.
Rock.
The A24 Rock. That's what we're gonna call it.
There you go. But for me, just I am tied so much to mid-90s for some reason. I don't know if I just like the aesthetic, or if there's something about the way Hill shoots, or there's something about the way he composed the story. Something is attracting me there. So mid-90s is just something that I can always go back to and watch. Like if you tell me we're watching mid-90s at like 1 a.m, I will be up at 1 a.m to watch.
That's fair.
So
all right, but unfortunately, mid-90s is out, and the Florida Project's gonna move on. The next matchup is gonna be a quick one because I don't know which one of you seen which, but Climax versus Under the Silver Lake.
Ooh,
I've seen neither.
I've seen neither.
I've seen neither. Brian, but I know
what's your vote? What's your vote?
Under the Silver Lake.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not going to be much to say about this because I don't have much to say about either one.
Yeah. It's just the one I want to watch more. The runtime is intriguing to me. I don't see many long A24 movies. It's like 2 hours and 40-something minutes.
It feels like that, too. It kind of drags sometimes.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's good.
I was going to say, like, Andrew Garfield's probably my main draw to it. I think he's a phenomenal actor. Very underrated.
Climax is just insane. Climax just... Well, you're watching drugs, the movie.
Pretty much.
You're on Gaspar Noé gives you drugs at the beginning of the movie. You take them, and then that's all that happens. People dancing. That's the movie. Drugs and people dancing.
I knew literally before you started talking about it, I knew nothing about the movie. When you announced the bracket to us before recording like a week or so ago, I knew nothing about. I didn't even know the movie existed. So I heard very, very small things about Under the Silver Lake before going into this, but Under the Silver Lake, it's my vote.
All right. So that Under the Silver Lake's gonna move on.
Okay. I mean, I like Climax. I enjoy it, but
it's not for everyone.
It's not. I think I like those like art housey kind of movies.
That is art house to the max. Climax
a little bit too much, and for some reason I feel like that it falls into that.
Yeah.
You cut out there. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna make a pun, but it was really shitty. So.
Okay.
Someone's gonna point it out to me. My life is over now. I can go home.
Hey,
I'm gonna go sleep.
Don't worry about it. I enjoy pun. I want to hear this pun now. That's the thing. But Zoom just like cut out.
No, I'm not saying it. Sorry.
All right. Well, I guess I'll never know. But Under the Silver Lake, my vote. Watched that movie like 3 times.
Under the Silver Lake moves on. Next one is pretty good. Uncut Gems, directed by the Safdies, versus James Franco's The Disaster Artist, directing and starring, and I think he wrote some of it too. So
I think so.
For me, this is, as much as I love The Disaster Artist, this is like mid-90s for me. Like, Disaster Artist is so much fun, and I get a kick out of it. And James Franco probably gives his best performance to date, besides maybe 127 Hours.
For sure.
But Uncut Gems was one of my favorite last year. So I mean, Adam Sandler should have been nominated. Everyone knows that.
Mhm.
So easily, Uncut Gems, one of the most intense, anxiety-inducing films I've ever seen in my entire life.
For
Mhm.
sure.
Fun fact about Disaster Artist: I watched it at 7:40 this morning before
Ooh.
before going to work, and I was smiling the whole time. I really enjoyed it. James Franco just sold it. I loved him in it.
He won a Golden Globe for it.
He did win a Golden
Yeah.
Globe for it, and a lot of people were campaigning for him to get nominated for an Oscar. I knew there was some controversy around
That was
him.
never going to happen.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately, controversy surrounded him at the wrong time. So
and as much as I like Disaster Artist, and I thought it was it was a heartwarming kind of movie at times too. That is basically James Franco's performance against Anxiety the movie,
yeah,
and there wasn't anything I also didn't like about Uncut Gems. There's probably was like one or two things I could probably nitpick from it. But the one that was more memorable to me was definitely Uncut Gems. That was a theater experience that I won't forget for a while.
Brian, did we see that together?
No,
No,
I saw it with
no,
someone
I
else.
saw that with someone
Mhm.
else.
But yeah, I think Uncut Gems is the better complete movie. I think all
Definitely.
around, I love them both. I really enjoyed them both, but I think overall, Uncut Gems is another real movie. It's like a very realistic, and it's funny because like you're comparing something that didn't happen comparing it to something that did happen, and the Uncut Gems feels more realistic than the other one for some reason. But yeah, my vote goes to Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler was snubbed, by the way, for an
Severely
Oscar.
snubbed.
Severely. I'm glad he won it at that indie award show.
I think he won it at the SAG too, or something like that.
That's
He won
it.
another big one.
That's it. He won it
Yeah.
there. But he was not nominated, and that's a damn shame. He should have gotten nominated. Safdie should have gotten nominated. I think it
Should
should
have
have
gotten a lot more love than it did.
Mm-hmm. Should have gotten best original score, all that good stuff. But my vote goes Uncut Gems.
All right, Colin, what's your vote, buddy, or what's your thoughts?
My vote isn't gonna matter because I'm going on the other side. Disaster Artist.
Wow.
All right.
Personally, Disaster Artist for me is a film that I could always watch as well. It's like mid-90s for me. You say we're watching it at 2 a.m. I am down at 2 a.m. to watch Disaster Artist. If you say the same thing about The Room, I'm watching that too. Just to be clear. For me, I've seen Uncut Gems twice, and I've always been confused by like the first act. So I've always been just straight up lost and confused, lost in the story. I don't know why. I think it has a lot to do with that opening 10-15 minutes where you're like in like another country or something like that, and I don't see the connection.
I think we need to have an Uncut Gems podcast very soon because I completely disagree.
Okay.
But I don't want to get too far into that because we got to keep this train rolling.
No problem. Yeah, maybe I'm just stupid and I'm just like missing like some artistic
Colin, you're not
element.
stupid.
But I think I am sometimes. But whatever.
No, you're not.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Uncut Gems. Don't get me wrong, love it. Give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But Disaster Artist for me.
All right.
Yes.
What would you give Disaster?
Disaster, I gave a 9.5 out of 10.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Only thing I was not sold on actually was, kind of how sometimes James and Dave kind of portrayed Greg and
at times
Tommy.
they're just portraying James and Dave instead.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I have the book, The Disaster Artist.
I want to read it.
I read that like two times, and it's a pretty, I think, faithful
Okay.
So
All right.
Sweet.
Uncut Gems. Moving
There you
on.
Good.
The next matchup is another easy one for me. Harmony Korine's Spring Breakers versus A Ghost Story, which features Rooney Mara and Casey Affleck. For me, Ghost Story, easily. I love Spring Breakers, though. Spring Breakers is awesome. It is so much fun and it is so stupid. It is probably one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen. I mean, James Franco shows up with some dreads and his name's Alien. So that's all you need to know.
Straight up.
Um,
If you want a mindless, like, fun film to watch, Spring Breakers. But if you want something that's
Anything
engaging and
Harmony Korine
thoughtful,
has made besides Gummo,
mhm.
the
I
Beach
forgot
Bum
about
is
Gummo.
the Beach Bum is so goddamn stupid, but it is so much fun. And I think
Dude, the Beach,
any other matchup I'd pick Spring Breakers, I feel like. In a lot, well,
dude,
not every matchup, but in a lot of other matchups, I pick Spring Breakers. But Ghost Story is fantastic, beautiful.
the Beach Bum just like came and went,
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, that's disappointing. But for me, Ghost Story. I'm not even gonna bother to argue for Spring Breakers because I know better than to do that.
So now I know my vote doesn't matter now, and it wouldn't really have to begin with because I haven't seen either of them. But
damn
I
it,
think
Brian.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Brian. I told you to
Sorry.
watch Spring Breakers.
Um, this is kind of a tough one in terms of which one I wanted to watch more because I love Casey Affleck. I think that man can do no wrong. I think he's probably the most underrated actor of in the years. I think. And also Spring Breakers just seems like it's so much fun.
It is so much fun, but
Yeah.
God, is it so stupid.
So it's so damn
Um,
stupid. Like you shake your head like at least 20 times during the movie.
I remember when that one came out too. But
It's not one in theaters, I think, actually.
in terms of which one I would like to watch more, I'm more interested in A Ghost Story. It's just a very interesting concept to me. It's very, very short, too. It's like, what, hour 25?
I think
hour
so.
26?
It's pretty
that.
short.
Mhm.
It's a quick watch.
So, yeah, I give my vote to Ghost Story. I do want to see them both, though. Nothing against Spring Breakers.
I think we should have a Spring Breakers podcast too.
Yeah.
I think we'd have a amazing conversation about Spring Breakers.
Oh my god. I feel like Connor and I were just roasting the entire movie.
I wouldn't roast it. No.
I know, man. It's a pretty solid movie, not gonna lie. Boys, it's stupid.
All right, so Ghost Story. Moving on. The next one is another pretty decent matchup. We got Under the Skin, which we recently talked about on the podcast, versus The Killing of the Sacred Deer, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos.
Ooh.
For me, I love both of these. Killing the Sacred Deer is, God, Yorgos has this like special, unique way of directing film that is so disturbing but great. But for me, Under the Skin, I talked to death about it in the podcast. So for me, I won't go too in depth to it because you can go watch the podcast all about it. Under the Skin, easily for me.
I have to give it to Under the Skin because I didn't see Killing. But I liked Under the Skin. I did. Really, I don't have much else to say. I gave my thoughts.
We talked to death about that movie, to be honest.
Did.
We squeezed everything out of it, so
it is an interesting one to say the least. I don't really have much else to say about it. I gave my thoughts on it on the last podcast, but it's a good one. I'd recommend it. I do want to see Killing though. I do want to see Killing at some point.
it's very different. It's very disturbing too.
It definitely seems like it. But yeah, I give my vote to Under the Skin.
Colin?
Both these films disturbed me on a really.
I didn't point that out, but both are very, very disturbing in their own specific way.
Yeah, they really just like polar opposites of disturbed. It's so tough because I don't. I don't know which one I revisit. I don't know which one I revisit for entertainment purposes, and I don't know which one I'd revisit for filmmaking purposes. Um, it's tough. I think I'd have to say. I think I'd have to say Under the Skin.
Okay.
And that's really just based on that I haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer in a good couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I
Understood.
rewatch them, I'd probably have a better answer for you. But Under the Skin, I'm gonna go with
All right.
because I think that's what it would probably end up being.
Clean sweep. Under the Skin. It's moving on. So the next matchup is probably the best one in the first round, and it's gonna suck to see one of these films go, and that is Hereditary versus Good Time, another Safdie brothers movie, and Ari Aster's directorial debut, which bursted onto the scene out of nowhere.
Oh.
God, Toni Collette should have gotten nominated. Everyone knows that. Again, could go super in depth into that, but this is so hard for me, man. It's really which one I want to carry on into the tournament further, and I mean, Good Time is so good. Good Time is so good, man. And it's so this is so hard. I don't know.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, Brian, go
Because
ahead
I have-
because
I have to
you
give a
have to
choice.
vote for one.
I have to vote for one. I'm voting Good Time because
You haven't seen Hereditary.
it's the Hereditary. That's mainly because I don't have the balls to watch it by myself.
Totally,
So-
you know what? Totally understandable.
I have
Brian.
that's what's holding me. I own it. I literally own it. I bought it for $5, and I have not seen it yet.
Brian, when the pandemic is over, I'm coming over to your house and we're watching it.
You know what? We'll
Okay.
all sit down. We'll all sit down and suffer.
I mean,
I'll enjoy it, but you know,
But that's why I have not seen it. I would like to. I still know very little about the film, so if we could stray away from spoilers too, that'd be great. I'm trying to keep. I've for 2 years I've been trying to stay away from them as much as possible.
Okay.
But I got to give my vote to Good Time. I like Good Time. I like it. Good Time is a good time. Good Time is a good time. It's another anxiety inducing film from
Not as much
the
as
Safdies.
Uncut, I feel
Not
like.
as much as
No.
Uncut. Robert Pattinson gives at that point gives his best performance. Yeah. And also which was it Benny? Safdie?
Benny, yeah.
Benny
think so.
Safdie, another a great performance from him. Really nothing much else to say about it. It's even though I said Good Time is a good time, it's a very
It's not so much a good time at times.
not
Yeah.
so much a good time. It's a great film, but it's a
hard watch.
It is a hard watch, and considering that Robert Pattinson is supposed to be the protagonist, but you don't feel like he's a protagonist because he's kind of
I mean,
an
he's
ass.
kind of a pedophile in the movie too. So.
Yeah, so but yeah, I give my vote. It's a good time. Great film.
That being said, Hereditary for me.
Mm.
I gotta give it to him. Toni Collette's performance is way too good. So for me, Hereditary. Colin, I can only imagine that you would not pass up the opportunity to give Ari Aster your vote. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say you're gonna say Hereditary.
But Connor, it's a question of which Ari Aster film gets my vote.
Well, you know what? That's a completely different story here because we all know that we all know that Colin's just gonna go ham on goddamn Midsommar. So.
Oh, for sure, And you know what? It's not gonna go to round 2. So what's the difference? No, I will say this: good time. I enjoy from a technical aspect. I think it's technically well shot, technically well put together. I think Brad Pattinson has a fantastic performance. I would say I enjoy his performance in Good Time more so than The Lighthouse, but that's neither here nor there. But Hereditary, same thing I said about Midsommar. Cannot stop thinking about that movie. The way that is shot, the way that is put together, the way the story unfolds, Toni Collette's performance. My God, I'll even go with uh I'm drawing a blank on her husband, Gabriel Burns,
Something like that.
something like that. That's really bad.
Millie Shapiro too, and
Millie
Alex
Shapiro.
Wolff. All the people in it. Are fantastic.
It's just a very well put together movie. It's a nice slow burn.
Mhm.
It's very much psychological, which I enjoy
It is
more
not.
so.
There are like maybe 2 jump scares.
Yeah, if that. And one of
It's
them is
real
like,
horror. It's like
yeah,
real horror. It's the stuff that you can't see, which is scary.
it,
Or
it
you think
will
you see.
it will definitely leave a mark on you.
Oh, for
Um,
sure. I
I
got scarred from it.
mean, I left the theater and I wanted to buy another ticket and watch it again.
Hmm.
I was just entranced by it. Like when this thing dropped on Blu-ray, I went out on day one and bought it. So, yeah, not gonna be around the bush. Hereditary, I pick.
All right.
So,
Hereditary. Moving on. So we're getting to the last few matchups in the first round here. The next one is The Farewell versus The Lighthouse. Robert Eggers versus Lulu Wang or Wang, something like that. For me, Lighthouse, easy. Again, this is another like mid '90s versus I think Photo Project. Yeah,
Photo Project, yeah.
I love The Farewell. Adore it. Great performances. The grandma might be the sweetest grandma ever, besides my own. But for me, easy, The Lighthouse. Love that movie. I think it was my third or fourth favorite of last year. I know you guys probably gonna vote it out first round, but I don't care, man.
I can't vote it out.
That's right.
I can't vote it out because I only saw Lighthouse. I didn't see Farewell, so I have to give it to Lighthouse. This is the first one where I saw a film and I didn't see the other one, and the one that I saw, I still don't know if I liked. I have no rating on it. I don't know if I liked it. Don't know if I didn't like it. It's one of those movies where the
It
credits
kind of
started
just
rolling.
happened.
The credits started rolling, and I'm like, so that happened. And I don't know what to make of it.
Ryan, we saw that together, and I remember that.
We did. Will I ever go back to it? I have no idea.
I'll make you guys go back.
I legitimately have
that's
no
gonna
idea.
That's gonna be a podcast is gonna have to happen. So.
But yeah, my vote goes to Lighthouse. I would like to see The Farewell. It seems like a very good movie.
It's a very cute movie.
Yeah, I would watch it. So, but yeah, I have to give it to Lighthouse.
Colin, this is gonna be something because you were just talking all this shit about the Farewell. So, what are you gonna go for, buddy? What are you gonna be going for here?
I wouldn't say shit, man. Listen, I enjoyed The Farewell. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's like you said, it's a real feel good movie.
Makes me feel nice and warm inside.
Yeah, but like after I watched it, I'm gonna say like a day or two after, I was like, what did I really get out of this movie? I'm still trying to figure that out. So I'm at a loss. Like, will I revisit it? Probably, but I'm not sure. Now, vice versa on The Lighthouse, I've seen that movie probably 3 or 4 times. In fact, I rewatched for this podcast. I still don't know what the hell goes on in that movie. I don't understand. I really don't.
I don't think you necessarily are. You're supposed to kind of just like jump on and be like, okay, well, you know what? I don't think anyone in this theater knows what the hell's going on, but
for me, like I don't. There's nothing for me to like grab onto.
That's
like
fair.
I don't like I like the cinematography. I like that, but there's not much else to say about The Lighthouse for me personally. Like I'm I know we talked about this when we talked about Mulholland Drive. Like I just don't get The Lighthouse. I don't understand it for life.
So based on what you guys are saying, I will just give it to The Farewell.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I mean, Brian, you can't vote for The Farewell,
I can't vote for The Farewell.
I feel like, well, clearly I'm the only one that likes Lighthouse, so.
But hold on here, Connor. Hold on.
Is Colin gonna throw some curveball at me?
As much as I don't understand The Lighthouse, I do appreciate its composition. I do appreciate how it is put together, how the story does unfold.
More so than The Farewell.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm giving it to the Lighthouse.
All right.
Wow.
Lighthouse. Moving on.
Just throw a major curveball at you people.
I thought it was gonna
No.
completely different way. These are three easy matchups to round off the first round. Enemy versus Room. Denis Villeneuve versus Brie Larson's Oscar-winning role. For me, Enemy. As much as I love Room, and I love Jacob Tremblay, and I love Brie Larson in it, somehow I love her in it. Enemy left me thinking way after watching it. So I after 3 days after watching it, I was still thinking about that ending. So, and I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal can't do wrong. So easily, Enemy.
I remember starting Enemy a couple months ago. I was about 10 minutes into it, and I just stopped. I had to do something else, and I just never went back to it. Not necessarily anything against the movie. I wasn't hooked by that point.
It's not Villeneuve's best.
No, not close to his best. I would like to watch The Room. So I haven't seen The Room. Not The Room. I haven't seen Room. Room, not The Room. The one I would probably go and watch. Probably Room. I think I'm gonna give my vote to Room.
Colin, this should be an easy pick because we all know that whatever movie moves on is probably going to get knocked out in the next round. So,
for sure. Enemy is my pick.
All right.
I did not like Room at all.
Really?
Yeah, I was not. I don't know. I'm not attributing it to Brie Larson. I don't want to talk about Brie Larson hater. It's not her. There was nothing.
I get it.
It's a very forgettable movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, not many people talk about it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Enemy. Moving on. The Lobster, Yorgos Lanthimos versus The Witch, directed by Robert Eggers. For me, I love The Lobster. I think it's very different, very unique. But for me, I like The Witch more. I can't really tell you why. I just, both kind of left me disturbed again. Kind of funny that I get disturbed by two similar movies in the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I feel like I talk about The Witch more than I do The Lobster. I feel like The Lobster is kind of just there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. Great performances. I mean, Rachel Weisz is great. Colin Farrell's great. But I like Anya Taylor-Joy. So, The Witch.
I've not seen either of these films. Yet again. I'm gonna give my vote to The Witch. I'm gonna give my vote to The Witch. That's definitely the one. Especially after seeing Lighthouse, I'm like, I would like to see more of what Robert Eggers can do.
The Norseman, he's got a new one.
The Norseman's coming out, and I know The Witch came before Lighthouse. I've seen the ending. I didn't really care to get that one spoiled for me, so I had watched what happened in the end.
Ending is very strange.
The
ending kind of comes out of nowhere, but
it's insane looking. So now it just makes me want to watch. I know very little about The Lobster. I just know the synopsis and how was it Colin Farrell?
Yeah.
Colin Farrell. He was in both of the director's movies, right? That one and Sacred Deer.
I think he's technically the lead in both. So.
Mm-hmm. So, but that's pretty cool that he's got the same guy come back for both of them. But, The Witch has my attention more than The Lobster, so my vote's going to The Witch.
All right. Cool. Colin?
the Vitch or the Witch, whatever you want to call it, is my pick. Enjoyed the Lobster, but there was more substance I feel personally to the
All right.
so.
Cool. So the Vitch moving on in the last matchup of round number 1. And this one, you know what? It's Midsommar versus It Comes at Night. Tradeward Schultz and Ari Aster. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but my vote's Midsommar.
Woo!
As
Yes!
much as I dislike the hell out of Midsommar, like I just got nothing out of it. Don't get me wrong, Florence Pugh, great in it, love her, she's beautiful. It Comes at Night just did not do it for me. I was in and out of focus from it. I was on my phone half the time. You know what? I like Trey Edward Schultz as a director. I think he's got a good future, but just didn't do it for me. So Midsommar.
I'll be giving it to Midsommar. I didn't see It Comes at Night, but I would have probably given it to Midsommar anyway because I enjoyed it. It's in my honorable mentions for 2019. It is one of the wackiest movies.
Colin's
I saw
about
last
to
year.
have a seizure or
Explode,
something.
yeah. Just so it's out of,
Like-
just because it's out of the first round.
Should we just move on here because we all know what Colin's gonna pick?
God,
Colin,
I
listen,
thought this was gonna be gone.
Well, no. So listen, I know you're very excited to vote for It Comes at Night, but listen, you gotta contain yourself.
Oh
The sphere.
The
The
sphere
Rock.
has spoken. All right,
Okay.
Colin, just say it.
Just say it.
Just say it.
Midsommar!
Midsommar's win, and it's gonna be out in the next round, guaranteed.
Probably.
Um,
We'll
I didn't even think it was
see.
gonna make second round. I'm just
well,
like,
actually,
oh,
should because Brian hasn't seen the bitch.
Ah,
All right.
interesting.
Second round.
Connor's not gonna let the movie win though. I know for a fact he's not.
I don't know. You
I
don't know.
Who knows?
You don't know what my vote's gonna be. My vote's gonna be the one that moves it on, or it gets eliminated.
Yeah.
So
It's true.
All right. So second round here should be quite easy to get through the rest of the bracket from here. First Reform versus Green Room. Pretty easy for me. First Reform.
First Reformed. I'm sorry, Colin.
That's right.
I'm sorry. Did you say you saw First Reformed?
I did not.
Oh, you did not. Okay.
Or did no wait. No.
Oh,
Wait.
I think you said you saw it a couple, like a year or two ago. You said,
Wait.
I think you
Sorry.
might have.
What was against First Reformed in the bracket?
Green Room.
Green Room? No.
Oh, the first round.
The first round.
Up against Green Room.
No. Up against,
First
First Reformed.
Reformed.
High Life.
That's it.
There you
All
Yeah. First Reformed.
All right. Last Black Man in San Francisco versus Ex Machina, which is a bit hard.
Ex
For
Machina.
me, I am going to go with Ex Machina.
I am going with Ex Machina.
I hate
as
to see
well.
Last Black Man in San Francisco go where it is, but for me, Ex Machina. And I know
Yeah.
Colin got this smirk on his face, and he's going to go the other way.
No, I'm thinking like they're both.
They're both so good.
Yeah.
But respect to both of them. I love it. In any other bracket, Last Black Man in San Francisco would probably win in whatever it would be in. So
I would say Ex Machina.
all right.
Yeah.
Clean sweep there. Moonlight versus Swiss Army Man. Easily Moonlight for me.
Mhm. Yeah, Moonlight gets my vote.
Yeah.
Colin?
Moonlight.
All right. Clean sweep again. Florida Project versus Under the Silver Lake. Florida Project easily for me.
Yep, gets my vote. Florida Project gets my vote as well.
Sorry. Under the Silver Lake.
Damn.
Damn. All right.
Sorry.
Uncut Gems versus A Ghost Story. Uncut Gems for me.
Uncut Gems.
Gems.
All right.
Gems for sure.
Uncut. Under the Skin versus Hereditary.
I have to vote Under the Skin. So that's where my vote's going.
God, and I praised Under the Skin like it's the second coming of Christ or something in the podcast.
Yeah, you
It was
did.
your
So
pick-
I
it
feel like
was
I'm
your pick
obligated
for
to
a
say
week.
Under the Skin, but I'm gonna go Hereditary.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know where my vote is, so just move on.
Hereditary. Um,
Damn.
The Lighthouse versus Enemy. Lighthouse for me.
I gotta vote Lighthouse.
For sure, Lighthouse.
All right. The Vitch versus Midsommar. I'm gonna say the Vitch, but I already know that Midsommar is moving on. So
Yeah, Midsommar is moving on because obviously it gets my vote.
Woo!
It's on,
All
Colin.
right.
It's on to round 2.
Oh my god.
Round 3.
Oh my god. Oh my
All
god.
right. So we're moving on to the next round. Round number 3. We're getting to the nitty gritty here. First Reform versus Ex Machina. And as much as I love Ethan Hawke's performance, I gotta go with Ex Machina, man.
That's where my vote is probably gonna go as well. I loved Ex Machina more as a whole than I did First Reformed. I liked First Reformed a lot.
I think the performances lead First Reform more
Mhm.
than the narrative.
And Ethan Hawke had the best performance in either. Like, I mean, obviously it wasn't in Ex Machina, but like out of the 2 movies, he had the best performance out of anyone.
Yeah.
But I think overall, Ex Machina is the one that's gonna leave you, I think, thinking more, maybe. And I think it's a slightly better movie.
Colin?
I think I gotta say Ex Machina.
All right. Clean
As
sweep.
much as I like
Again.
Ethan Hawke's performance, no.
All right. Pretty decent matchup here. Moonlight versus the Florida Project. And for me, I love Moonlight and I love the impact that it's had on film culture. But Florida Project all the way.
Here's where I'm gonna agree with you. Florida Project.
Florida Project. All right.
Florida Project.
All right. Florida Project it is. Uncut Gems versus Hereditary.
I gotta vote Uncut.
See, I'm gonna make absolutely zero sense now because it said Hereditary is better than Under Skin, but you know.
You're gonna go Uncut. I know you are. Just say
I'm gonna go Uncut. Unfortunately, I gotta go Uncut.
Yeah, man.
All right.
No, see, it's like this, Connor. You really like Uncut. I really like Hereditary. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
The Lighthouse versus Midsommar.
Oh, that's a matchup.
Lighthouse.
I'll let you 2 go,
Lighthouse.
and then you'll hear my vote.
Lighthouse easily. I don't even have to state my reasoning. I think the Midsommar is good. It's fine. It's cool, I guess. Horror movies in the middle of the day, all day long, but Lighthouse for me easily.
All right.
Colin.
Midsommar.
Brian, it's all on you, buddy.
Brian was hoping I said Lighthouse. I know he was.
No, you want to know why? Because I'm voting Midsommar.
Wow.
What?
I enjoyed it more. I also had my favorite performance of the 2. I like Robert Pattinson. I like Willem Dafoe, but I don't know. There's something about Florence Pugh's performance
Man.
was one of 2019's best.
2019.
But yeah, my vote goes to Midsommar. Connor, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? That's not even the film I'm backing all the way. So,
I already know it's when you're backing all
Wow.
the way. So
all right. So we got
I'd have
probably
for sure
four
thought Brian was going to pick Lighthouse. Wow.
for the semifinals. We probably got 4 of the best A24. Most definitely. First matchup: Ex Machina versus the Florida Project. And
Oh,
goddamn,
come on.
Ex Machina is brilliant, and I can praise it all the time. And I called it the sphere of A24, but the Florida Project for me. I love the film way too much.
This might take me a minute.
This is tough.
Sean Baker bursting on the scene with this thing after what was it, Tangerine? And then you have Ex Machina, directed by what's his name? I love him to death.
Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, who I love.
Did Annihilation, right?
Yep. And he also did Devs.
Oh.
Ex Machina. Sorry, Brian.
I'm gonna give it to Florida.
Wow. All right, Florida Project. Moving on to the final. In the next semifinal, we have Uncut Gems versus Midsommar. Uncut. I'm doing everything in my power to get Midsommar out of here.
Colin, what's your pick?
We all know that's
we all
goddamn
know
Midsommar.
my pick is Midsommar.
But Brian's
Happy
really
I
up
said
to
it.
you.
I thoroughly enjoyed both these films. I really did. But here's the thing. One of them was in my honorable mentions. The other one was in my top 5. I'm giving it to Uncut.
That is so true. Oh my god.
I'm giving it to Uncut.
All right.
Dang, Colin, I'm sorry.
Listen, Midsommar made it a lot further than I thought it was.
But I thought it was going. I thought it was round one.
All right. So the final, the big finale here. Sean Baker's The Florida Project versus the Safdie Brothers' Uncut Gems.
You could argue these are also the two just best A24 films in general. Uncut.
Can I give it to both? Can I just give it to both?
No.
I wish. Uncut's the highest grossing A24 film of all time, too.
Yep. Thoroughly deserving. But for me, it's got to be Florida Project, man. It's slowly creeping up my best ever list. So I'll let you guys two duel it out. I got to run to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. This one's tough. I thought I knew which one I was voting for. And now I don't. I actually have no idea. I loved both. I legitimately love both these films. And they're for different reasons. Florida Project is like I said, it's like real. But then Uncut is just anxiety the whole time. And I feel like that is so tough to do in a film, and to do it just to induce anxiety at all in a film is tough. But to do it
also
as your entire
realism.
Movie. Yeah.
But also the realism of both films is also pretty well.
Yeah.
Man.
Colin, if you would like to go first, you can. I'm still kind of deciding.
Me too. I don't. All right, so from a technical standpoint, I like both movies. From an entertainment standpoint, I like both movies, and I would revisit them. Now, I know I don't quite understand the first act of Uncut Gems, but that also doesn't subtract wholly from the rest of the movie. When we did the first round, I still just enjoyed Disaster Artist more.
Yeah.
Personally. Is this tough? And the score of Uncut Gems is good too. This is tough. This is tough. Because I'm happy either way if whichever one of these films wins. But
either way you can't go wrong.
But as far as the best that A24 has given us up to date, anyways.
I think I have my vote. Do I?
I think I got it. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yours, you got yours.
Colin's got it. Colin's got it.
Uncut Gems.
Wow. All right. Ryan.
Ryan, I hate to put you in that position again, buddy, but up to you. Well, Brian's thinking it is tough. It is very tough to decide
It is a
when
very
you really
tough
look at
one.
these films.
I think.
I mean, for all these films too, it's really difficult to decide sometimes.
It's very difficult. I think. I got mine.
You got it?
I got it.
All right. Here's your drum roll.
The Cloud Saga pick for best A24 movie. Brian.
The Florida Project.
There we go. All right.
So
Sean
basically-
Baker's Florida Project is the winner.
So
There you
basically, I think in terms of a technical aspect, I enjoyed Uncut Gems more, and I think Adam Sandler had the best performance out of either two movies. But what Sean Baker was able to pull off with his cast, and with how little they really had to work with, I think is very impressive. And I almost gave it to Uncut because of that, because I didn't want to give him a handicap, but at the same time, I'm like, that's still like immensely like impressive. You can't just do that with any cast, and the fact that you made, was it 2017?
17, yeah.
Considering that it was one of the best films of 2017, with a 98% unknown cast, and you go out and you make a masterpiece is unheard of. Usually your masterpieces consist of an all-star cast, but
I'm just pissed that he's gonna make a goddamn documentary about Bella Thorne. But that's, you know what? You do you, man.
let him
I guess.
do him, I guess.
Yes.
Who knows? It could be
Whatever.
good. It's Sean Baker.
It could be the best film of all time, but
It could be the best
Could be.
documentary of all time, but I like nothing against Uncut Gems. I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. I think they're both the two of the best films of their respective years. Like Uncut Gems, like I said, is in my top, at least in my top 10. It's definitely in my top 10. And for 2017, Florida Project is now in my top 10. I think it's probably top 5. I think. I don't know if it would top 3 or 2, but it's in my top 5, definitely. Yeah, I give it to Florida Project.
all right. There we are. All right, guys. It's been awesome. I think we really should start doing this. I think the plan was to try to do one every month, at least once. We also threw out the ideas of best actor under 30, best horror films of a certain era. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Really don't know where we're gonna take it next week. There might be a potential Tenant review, maybe, but you didn't hear
Maybe.
that from us.
Maybe.
But yeah, do we want to get into what we've been watching? I can talk about one thing.
Sure.
Sure.
I watched all the Ocean movies, Oceans 11, 12, 13. I did not watch 8 because that does not count.
Does not exist.
Nope, doesn't. But I think that's one of the most consistent trilogies, even though it does not feel like any of them are connected in any way.
Got it.
Nope, they're all completely different. I mean, I mean, 12 seems like this French weird experimental film. 13 just feels so like mainstream, and Ocean's 11 is iconic of all iconic. It's like quintessential heist film. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what I was watching A24 movies, and I was able to fit those three in. So I've been watching.
Aside from A24 films, I watched about 5 this week, I think. No. I think, yeah, 5 this week because I watched one on Saturday and the rest were this week. I've watched HBO Max's new series, Lovecraft Country. I haven't watched episode 2 yet. Episode 1 was really good. I really like
want to
where they're
watch
taking it. It's good. It's very enjoyable. I really like how they're taking it. I already forgot the lead actor's name. Jonathan Majors. That's it. He's very good in it. Everyone's very good in it. I've been watching that. I've been watching Disney Plus's Muppets Now, which is an improv, like SNL style Muppet show every week. And it's such a nice break from everything for like half an hour. It's just Muppets. That's literally it. There's nothing wrong with it, I think. It's just the same thing for the past 4 episodes now, 3 or 4 episodes. Comes out every Friday. Every Friday, and then Lovecraft Country's every Sunday. We've been watching those. I have some Netflix movies that I recently added to my list that I have heard nothing about. I just read the synopsis. It's they're so small, they don't even have like a preview to play. And those movies intrigue me so much, and I'm not gonna name them until the next episode or like until I actually watch them, because they've been on my list for a while too. Like some of them have been on my list for a while, and once I actually watch them, I'll name them and then I'll recommend them to you guys, unless you've already seen them, of course. But I got those. It's really about it. If we also want to talk music for a quick second, I cleaned out my room and I was listening to Spotify through my TV, and I can tell you right now, I have never listened to more metal in my entire life. I listened through 2.5 Metallica albums and one whole Pantera album. I listened to Cowboys from Hell by Pantera. Very solid. I really like that. Domination is like the best track off it. I listened to Ride the Lightning. I listened from Metallica. I listened to Injustice for All, and then I listened to half of Hardwired to Self-Destruct from like 2016, I think it was. All
Did
three.
you notice that there was no bass on Injustice for All?
Yeah, a friend of mine mentioned that to me. A friend of mine who's a huge Metallica fan.
Yeah.
He told me there's no bass on it.
Yeah.
Non-existent.
You'll never find it.
It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, all three were very good. I think my personal favorite was Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
I think For Whom the Bell Tolls and Creeping Death are 2 all-time great rock songs in general, so can't really beat them out. I kind of wish I listened to Master of Puppets along with those, but it is what it is.
That's your homework.
I'll listen to them eventually. Yeah, along with the heist films I gotta watch too. I've also been watching F1 almost every week. Hey, there you go.
Let's have the vinyl.
Hey, speaking of Metallica, actually, it's technically today that I'm doing this. It's 12:50, but you know those drive-in concerts they've been doing.
Yes.
I'm
going
to Metallica's, yeah.
Oh, lucky you.
And 3 Days Grace is opening for them, which is pretty cool. But I'm really excited for that one. That's really been it for me. I haven't really watched much else. Yeah, been it for me.
There you go. Aside from A24, I've also done a rewatch of the Happy Time Murders. If you're not familiar, it's that one with the Muppets and like a bunch of
I remember seeing that one time.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that movie when I saw it in theaters. On this rewatch, I was like, wow, like 17, 18-year-old me was a child. Like, shit. Um, movie does not hold up well at
I
all.
remember I remember seeing it for the first time like a year ago. I didn't like it. I
Yeah,
like it had good ideas, but it did not go together. They didn't mesh
not,
together.
not well at all. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. You know, just kind of living life.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly.
We'll only have so much time on our
Yeah.
hands, so
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, this has been a pleasure. Be on the lookout for a potential
potential tenant review.
tenant review.
Um, Who knows? It could happen. It might not happen. I don't know. Also, the next time we do a podcast, I will be of age to drink because next week I turn
Oh,
21.
Yes.
Oh,
sir.
shit.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Wednesday. I turned 21 on Wednesday. So that's always good. Can't wait.
All right.
Can't
I
wait.
listen, man. 21. Damn. Well, it's been an
Buy you some
absolute
drinks.
Absolutely.
pleasure
Absolutely.
being in your presence today.
Absolutely.
Tough day, of course, but I think we definitely turned it around. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been Connor Van Sice.
And Brian Dangler.
I've been Colin Bauer.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you later.
See you later.